I'm Nathan Davies and I'm the head chef of SY23 restaurant in Aberystwyth. We're going to cook a little dish with some beautiful Welsh lamb saddle. So this for me is like the Rolls Royce of the lamb. It's a fantastic cut, it's really lovely and tender, very succulent, fantastic Welsh lamb. So I'm just going to start by peeling the potatoes just to get rid of that skin. When you're doing this, don't put them in water. The reason we don't want to put them in the water is we don't want to wash all of that starch out from. That's going to help the potatoes stick together and become really lovely and layered when we come to fry it and stop it from falling apart. So once the potatoes are peeled, I'm just going to slice them really nice and finely on the mandolin. I'm just going to layer them. So after every couple of layers, I'm just going to take a little bit of melted butter. I'm just going to heavily baste them. Then just a little sprinkle of sea salt between the layers. So that's full all the way to the top. Just a little sprinkle of sea salt on top of that again. Just finish off, roll the sides over, and then pop it in the oven. So I'm going to cook that at about 150 degrees Celsius. So next step after we've got those potatoes in the oven is setting the black garlic ketchup. And basically what black garlic is garlic that's been cooked nice and slowly. So we cook ours for a few weeks at about 70 degrees. So it's basically all the sugars inside it are caramelized. And what I'm going to do is just cut these garlic in half, and then I'm going to take out this lovely garlic flesh now that's caramelizing on really nice and dark. I'm going to infuse that into a dashi stock and then set it in the fridge. And then I'm going to blend it into a really lovely smooth puree by adding a little bit of vinegar and soy at the end. So the cut we're going to use for this recipe is the saddle. So the saddle is my absolute favourite cut of lamb. The reason for that is how beautiful and tender it is. It's got the right amount of fat for me just to protect it as it's cooking and almost baste it. Other fantastic cuts that you can use for this, you could use leg. So if you were to bone and roll a leg of lamb, I love to cook it on the bone. And the reason for that is I just think that it protects it and it helps keep it really lovely and succulent while you're cooking it. Why use Welsh lamb? For me, it's a no-brainer. We've got a Michelin-starred restaurant. For us, it's about flavour and it's about consistency, and that's why we always look out for Welsh lamb. And in Wales, we have the best climate and the best terrain, fantastic Welsh lamb. With this, it doesn't need anything, I don't think. Just a little seasoning with some sea salt, and then I'm going to put it straight on the fire. So if you're not going to do this on the barbecue, quite easy. You can put this in a pan to make sure the pan's nice and hot. So after we've got that beautiful caramelization on the fat, it's going to really help the flavour develop. I'm just going to pop that in the oven. Makes it really nice and straightforward to cook. 100 degrees Celsius is what I recommend for this, so it's going to cook really nice and slowly. So instead of serving this with a lamb sauce or like a heavy reduced sauce, we're going to make a little roasted lamb dressing. So that's the minced lamb, just rendered down, got really lovely colour on it once it's sort of started to soften. And then what we'll do, once it's got loads of caramelisation onto it and it smells like delicious roast lamb, we'll deglaze that with some soy sauce. Season it with a little squeeze of mirin, which is going to sort of sweeten it slightly. So we'll just have a really good, almost like essence of lamb as a sauce. So the black garlic ketchup or the black garlic sauce, once it's been set in the fridge for 20 minutes or so, I've just diced it up so I can jug it in the blender. And then in here is going to be the sugar and the vinegar, and that's just been dissolved together. So we just mix them together, dissolve them, and then a little bit of the soy sauce as well. When you're blending it, the important thing was with this one to blend it for a long time. You want to blend it for long enough so that it's really lovely and velvety smooth, and then just keep it in the fridge. This one's to be served chilled. So lamb's nearly cooked. One of the last things we need to do before we plate is get these potatoes lovely and crispy. So now they're just going to go into a very hot skillet with a little bit of oil in there, and then drain them off on a little bit of kitchen roll or blue paper. So last step for this dish, grilled some mushrooms. So the mushrooms that I'm going to use are maitakes, which are a really lovely hoppy mushroom that got loads of taste and very meaty in texture. What you could replace these for is any mushroom that's really nice and meaty. The humble flat-fill mushroom would be brilliant with this dish. Cooking exactly the same way, a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt, If you're going to go into a pan, make sure it's a medium hot pan. And then if you're going onto a barbecue, make sure that the embers are almost burnt out. So you want a really lovely slow heat for these, just until you get some colour on them. Keep turning them. So I'm going to put these on the barbecue. So lamb's just come out of the oven, it's rested for a few minutes. Now I'm just going to take it off the bone and we'll start to assemble the dish. So once we've trimmed it, what we're left with is this really beautiful, really succulent, lean piece of saddle. Very much like the fillet of lamb, if you like. Just going to pop it back on the fire, just to caramelise that last little bit of the fat. So there we go, all finished. We've got this beautiful Welsh lamb saddle, grilled maitake mushrooms, some black garlic ketchup, and then all finished with a little roasted lamb soy or a dressing. And then on the side, there's little potatoes in the tureen that we fried so they're nice and crispy. There we go.